Great. So everybody, welcome to the Boston Light Swim Safety Meeting, session number 2. Put this into slideshow mode. So just before we get started, this meeting is automatically going to cut off at 40 minutes. If we're still going, if you still have additional questions, you can log back into the same link and I'll reopen that. And so if you have any questions that we haven't gotten to, then you'll have a chance to answer them at that point. So hi, my name is Kelly Latimer. I'm the safety director for Boston Light Swim. I've been involved in the swim for a number of years. First as a swimmer, I completed the solo swim first in 2014, and I was a volunteer along the way. And then I became part of the committee a few years ago and have recently taken on this role of safety director. So if you have any questions about anything that we go through along the way today, I'm going to stop at certain points and ask if anyone has any questions. I'd like you to save them until those points. If anything is totally burning, then feel free to interrupt. But yeah, so let's get through. We're going to go through some of the race day logistics, some of the, of course, the safety highlights, and some of the other important information that you'll need to know. And I will ask if anyone's not speaking, if you could just put yourself on mute, just so we make sure we minimize the background noise. All right, so congratulations. This is really exciting. So this swim has been happening since 1907, not every year consecutively, but the first iteration of this swim took place back then. Now it's your chance to jump into Boston Harbor and swim from the lighthouse all the way into South Boston. So Bob McCormick, who is basically the Boston Light Swim historian, is going to be at the welcome dinner on Friday. So you'll have a chance to hear a little bit more about the history of the swim. And he has a couple of volumes he has 2 books about the history of the swim as well. So there will be some great information shared on Friday. Just some logistical information. So for tracking, so we have the TrackRS tracking system set up. So this information is going to come to you in an email as well. But we have the TrackRS set up. You will use your phone. You'll download an app. There will be instructions on how to do that. Once you've activated your app, then your friends and family will be able to go to this TrackRS/Boston Light link, and we'll be able to track your little dot along the course. The biggest piece of advice I have, I guess there's 2 of them. Number 1 is set up the app before Saturday morning. It's not something you want to be worrying about at 5 a.m. On Saturday when you're trying to pack up and go to the start. Number 2, don't forget to turn it on. So you can have your crew hit start, or you can hit start before you actually jump in the water. But it'll be a great way for your friends and family to follow along. Also very important is our social media. So you can share your swim. You can use hashtag 2022BLS. You can also follow the Massachusetts Open Water Swimming Association at Mass OW Swim, and follow Boston Light at Boston Light Swim. All right, so now the fun stuff. So the weather forecast actually currently is looking gorgeous. So for those of you from away, we are currently about to break our second heat wave, our second of 2 back-to-back heat waves. It's been really horribly sticky here lately. The current forecast is for clear skies, a light, like 7 or 8 mile an hour north wind, and low humidity, which is something we haven't had here in a few weeks. The 5 a.m. temperature is forecast to be 64 degrees, rising to about 76 at noon. I think what this means mostly is make sure that you bring extra layers for the ride out, and make sure that your crew has more layers than you might expect. It can be really chilly on the water, even in the middle of August, and especially with a 64-degree air temperature first thing in the morning. Make sure that you dress warmly and encourage your crew to dress warmly for the beginning. That being said, the thing around here is if you don't like the weather, wait 5 minutes and it will change. The forecast currently says it's going to be gorgeous. Just in case, we have had conditions. The picture in the bottom left is from the 2019 swim, which was fogged out. We actually loaded everyone on the boats and sent them out to the start, and a giant fog bank of super duper thick fog was coming in. This is a picture of the lighthouse before the start of that, or there was no start of that swim, but out at the start. And we did cancel that swim. So if there is a cancellation, it will be broadcast on the radios. We will require that if you're in the water, you need to immediately exit the water, and the boats will bring you back to the Boston Harbor Yacht Club. And if that decision is made, if that call goes out that the swim has been canceled, that's non-negotiable. You do need to immediately get out of the water. and the pilots will take you back to the yacht club. In that event, we do suggest you still give your boater the donation for their time and effort. You know, you're already out there. But again, we really, based on the current forecast, that shouldn't happen. There's also not any current chance of thunderstorms in the forecast, which is also really encouraging. So that news seems great. I did mention the air temperature is forecast to be in the 60s, rising to the upper 70s. Water temperature, I will preface the statement with the water temperature in the harbor can do whatever it wants when it wants. You know, historically, we've had temperatures out at the start from the mid 50s to the mid 60s. I was just told that yesterday out at the light, the water temperature was around 61 degrees. That seems about right. The wind forecast is not supposed to be super high the next few days. So I would, you know, anticipate that the water is going to be anywhere from the upper 50s to the mid 60s. So you should know what those conditions mean for you. You should know your own symptoms of hypothermia, but more importantly, your crew should know your symptoms of hypothermia. So if there are crew present on this call or crew watching this video later, make sure that you know what your swimmer looks like at the beginning of the swim, when they're fresh, when they've been swimming for a short while. If you see your swimmer's stroke rate start to significantly decrease, or if you see that their lips are really blue or they're struggling to talk to you, keep checking in with them and make sure that that they're not becoming hypothermic. You know, it's one thing that this is a long time in pretty chilly water. So make sure that crew and swimmer are, you know, knowing what to look for, and you're, you know, being careful out there. Also, you know, dehydration and exhaustion, this is a long swim. Make sure that you're staying hydrated. Again, you know, you should know yourself and what your needs are for those situations. Some sea life. We do often get this question. What lives in the harbor? Well, there are sharks in Massachusetts. There are jellyfish, there are whales, there are many other things. We don't have a history of seeing sharks in the harbor very often. I can't think of an example, but they do, you know, the fact is they do live out there. Jellyfish, we mostly see harmless, non-stinging moon jellies. I haven't even heard reports of those recently. Lion's mane jellyfish are the more potent jellyfish that we see here. We have not had any reports lately. They usually do come in waves. They come with a sting that for most people is very uncomfortable, but doesn't last super long. There was actually a humpback whale that breached in between Long Island and Deer Island, so just off of the Boston Light course last week, which is very unusual, but provided some really cool videos if you want to Google that later. Again, you know, so this is not to scare anyone, but this is just, we do get the question of what lives in the water with us. These are some of the things. We don't expect to see them, but, you know, this is what it is. Before we get into some more of the logistics and we'll go through a race course overview, are there any questions about anything that I've covered so far? All right. So for safety, for just going into the boats, so there will be one boat per swimmer or per relay. No support swimming will be allowed, so there should only be one swimmer in the water at any time. If you're not speaking, could you mute, please?
Oh. How do I mute it? Crap.
There's usually a button in the bottom left. Okay, so there should be only one swimmer in the water per boat at any given time. So you're not allowed to have a support swimmer or someone jump in to pace you. You must have a motorized boat. You're not allowed to have a kayak as your sole escort boat. You can have a kayak if your pilot allows. You can have a kayak alongside the boat. I know that everyone has at this point a motorized boat already assigned to them, so that should be taken care of. This year, we're also going to have 5 course safety boats. So we'll have one boat in the front of the race that will have Mina, our race director, on board. We'll have one boat at the rear, and then we'll have one boat flanking either side. And in addition, we'll have one more miscellaneous boat that will be roaming around the course. The prime purpose of the safety boats is to try to intercept any other boat traffic that's coming near the course and to make sure that they understand that there are swimmers around. The boats are all going to be marked with these swimmer flags and diver down flags and an orange flag. So they should be very visible. It's just extra support to be provided by the safety boats. We will be using VHF channel 72 for event communications, and of course the channel 16 for Coast Guard communications, so in case of an actual emergency. So just a few more of the rules, just really quickly. I think these are all communicated in the email that Mina sent out, the swimmer's handout, but you're not allowed to touch the boat or any other person during your swim. You're not allowed to wear a wetsuit or any other buoyancy aiding or heat retaining swimwear. No faskins. This is traditional marathon rules swimwear. So your suit can't extend beyond your knee, or it can't extend onto your neck or past your shoulders. No swimming behind the boat. We don't want anyone swimming near propellers. It's going to also behoove you to not be near the boat exhaust. So please swim to the side of your boat. It has to be said, you may not wear a personal music player while you're swimming. I just covered the 1 swimmer per boat rule. The only thing that has changed since these rules were communicated by email is that you do not need to wear the cap that we provide you. So that was mentioned in an earlier email, and that was previously the rule, but in this case, we're just going to do body markings this year, so you can wear whichever cap you're most comfortable wearing.
Oh, that's good.
So relay specific rules. So only 1 person in the water at a time. Make that transition as quickly, as efficiently as you can, but you need 1 person in the water all the time. This is the helter-skelter format, meaning that we do not prescribe you must swim 1 swimmer for 1 hour, 1 swimmer for 1 hour. You may choose in what order you swim, for how long each swimmer swims. That's up to you. The one exception to that 1 person in the water at a time is at the very finish of the race, you may all jump in and swim into the beach together. And so that's, we're talking the last few hundred yards. But other than that, just 1 person in the water at a time. Any questions on the rules? We're going to go through a race day timeline and course review next, but are there any questions on the rules that we just covered? Okay. So race day morning, you will check in. Please arrive at the yacht club by 5 a.m. We're going to get everyone checked in. We're going to give you the flags that will be affixed to your boat, and we're going to do body marking. In addition, the Boston Harbor Yacht Club is just up the beach from where the finish line will be. So you're not going to be able to leave your things at the yacht club. Anything that you want at the finish line, you'll put into a bag and leave at the yacht club, and our volunteer crew will transport all of those bags from the yacht club to the beach, so that when you swim into the beach, you'll be able to have your clothes, your supplies. So we'll provide a bag for you to leave there. So you'll want to, pack light, but well, not pack light, pack light-ish, but we'll put everything that you want to be at the finish line into a bag and transport that for you. So you're going to meet your boater. This is meet your boater on the dock by 6 a.m. We'd really like, everyone. So you think about it, we have 22 swimmers and 2 relays. We've got all of these boats coming in. They need to come in, pick up their swimmer, have all of their flags attached, and then get out, right? So we want this to be a relatively quick loading process. So what's going to happen is your boat will come in. We're going to have volunteers equipped with zip ties to help you affix the flags to your escort boat. We'd like to get that done in a relatively efficient and quick manner so we can get the next boat in. We want everybody shoving off from the yacht club pretty close to just after 6 o'clock, because the race will start at 7 a.m. sharp. And depending on the speed or power of your boat, it can take a decent 45 minutes to get out there. So, maybe be in contact with your boater about, number 1, how to identify them coming in so that you can spot them coming in. And number 2, if you want to head out a little bit earlier, that, you can come in and start getting loaded on the earlier end of that timeline. But you can see this is a picture of what the yacht club looks like in the morning. So you can see we've got various boats all in different stages of getting ready to take off. So it will be a little bit crowded. So we'd like to just keep everything as efficient as we can. All right, so this is a picture of the course. This is a beautiful swim course. It's the Boston Harbor Islands National Recreation Area. You know, one of the big appeals to this swim is that the course buoys are islands. And you know, it's a really fun way to navigate by, you know, saying, oh, hang a left at that island, hang a right at that island. So this is a full course view that we're looking at here. So we do start out by Little Brewster Island. This is where the Boston Light is. You'll head towards George's Island, which is this island here. These 2 miles from Little Brewster Island to George's Island are among the fastest 2 miles that you're ever going to swim in your life. The swim start is timed so that there will be a flood tide coming. It will be ripping you towards George's Island for that first pitch. So this stretch, you're going to feel invincible. It's wonderful. Once you get south of George's Island, you're going to hang a slight right. You're going to keep Rainsford Island on your left. Oh, sorry, I skipped ahead. I got really excited about looking at the pictures of the islands. So to hold that thought for 1 second, the start itself. So I mentioned Little Brewster Island is this little island that has Boston Light on it. The start line is an invisible line north to south from the lighthouse. So you can imagine it's difficult to, you know, we can't hold a string up there for all the boats, but basically once you get out there, just set up a line going south from the lighthouse of all of the boats. At the sound, there will be an air horn that sounds at 7 a.m. sharp. When you hear that sound, jump in off your boat and start swimming. So just a note here for the boaters that is actually really important. This is the most chaotic point of the race for you, just because there's 20 something boats all in a line and all headed for the same point. So just be extra careful that you're keeping an eye out for other boats, swimmers, as well as other boats.
One quick thing to interject here, we'll have a 5-minute warning. It'll be 2 short blasts that will indicate, don't get excited, don't jump in the water, but that you should get ready to get in. So just to note, reminder, it's 2 short blasts is 5-minute warning. 1 very long blast is the time that you jump in the water.
That is a very important distinction. Thank you, Mina. Yeah, and it will be that start will be at 7 a.m. sharp. So if you hear the 2 and it's 6:55, then you'll also know that that's the 5-minute warning. Yeah, don't jump in at the 5-minute warning. Oops, I hit too many buttons. Where are we? Okay, here we are. So this is what I was just talking about. The flood tide will push you beginning from Little Brewster towards those 2 miles towards George's Island. You'll keep George's Island to your right as you go by. You can see this fort here on the island. After you pass George's Island, you're going to keep Rainsford Island on your left. So that's this small, oddly shaped island here. And then once you come past Rainsford, you're going to go around the tip of Long Island and under what used to be the Long Island Bridge. So there used to be a bridge connecting Moon Island and Long Island. I have a picture on the next slide of the stanchions where that bridge used to be. But this is just a picture of what this looks like from the satellite view. So you'll come past Rainsford and then we're going to go under past the tip of Long Island. So this is an important note for boaters in particular. So this is what the remnants of the bridge look like. The boats are required to go through the center here between the 2 large remaining stanchions. And this is for water depth purposes, safety purposes. So the swimmer, you may choose if you want to go through one of the more shallow sides of this, on the side closer to Long Island, which is over here. This is the only point really on the course where you're allowed to diverge from your boat. There won't be any other boat traffic going through here. And we'll have, the safety boats will be around as well, but your boat has to go through here in the middle, and you may choose to cut this corner if you want and meet up with your boat on the other side when the boat is through. Are there any questions about that? Cool. So once you come under the bridge, you're going to head in between Spectacle Island and Thompson Island. And then you're going to turn in towards the finish, which will be here on the M Street Beach. The advice that I'm going to offer here is to keep to the center, towards the center of this channel between Spectacle and Thompson, even if you head towards more towards the tip of Spectacle. For slower swimmers in particular, please take note that there's often a back current that comes around in through Dorchester Bay and will create a current that basically goes east to west across the tip of Thompson Island. It can run 1 to 2 miles an hour if you cut the corner too close to Thompson. We've had a number of swimmers over the years get stuck in this point in particular, just because that current comes around the island and can slow people down. So particularly if you're a slower swimmer, just keep a little bit farther away from Thompson, and that should not be a problem for you. Once you've come around the point of Thompson Island, you're going to head towards M Street, which will be the finish. This actually is a picture that shows the beach a little bit farther down. We're going to be finishing off to the right of this picture, but the fence that you see here, there are several of these fences, and just to the right of the rightmost fence is going to be where the finish line will be. So there will be a big white finish banner. We're going to have some, there will be orange buoys set up, and there will be these orange, this orange runway marking where we're going to be. There's also going to be a good crowd of people on the beach gathered there. So you should be able to spot us once you get a little bit closer. So the course cutoff times, these are the correct times. I know one of the earlier emails had these, had last year's times, which are shifted an hour. But this is just an important safety measure. Number one, the hard cutoff of 12 p.m., the hard cutoff of a 5-hour time limit is entirely to do with our course permitting and our partnerships with the local authorities that we are to be off the course by 12 p.m. This is something that is non-negotiable, and if you're still in the water at 12 p.m., the safety boats will come around and you will need to get it back into your boat. Even if you're painfully close to the finish of the course, this is something that we can't extend the time frame unless you're like inside the last buoy, like the buoy on the beach. We will ask you to exit the water. The other time cutoffs that you have here, they're less hard time points, but we will come around and we will assess the situation and see how close do we think you're going to be to actually having a chance to complete that. These waypoints are not, you don't have to hit these waypoints on your course. This is just a general suggestion of where the course actually goes. So don't, these are for you to look at on a map, but you don't have to actually, somebody asked at the previous meeting if you need to go through these points during your swim. That's not the case, but these are here for reference. Are there any questions about any of the course that we've just gone through or any of these cutoff times? Cool. So at the finish line, there will be EMTs on site. We're going to have EMTs on site, I think, actually from 8:30 onwards. Boats, once your swimmer has swum into the beach, you'll be able to offload your crew and return your boat flags at the Boston Harbor Yacht Club. So we will have volunteers there ready to take the flags and to assist. We'll have scissors to get all the zip ties off and all that. So please make sure that you return those to us before you head back to your home marinas. So family and friends, of course, are welcome on the beach. It actually turns into a really fun gathering, waiting for swimmers to come in and cheering. No alcohol will be permitted on the beach. We will have snacks and water available for swimmers at the finish line. One thing to note, historically, we have the finish line at the Curly Community Center, and we have access to the showers and restrooms there. That center is under construction, heavily under construction right now. There will not be any restroom facilities available at the M Street finish site this year. So please take that into consideration and maybe plan ahead if you're going to be coming to the finish line, or if your crew is going to be coming to the finish line, or family, I suppose.
Are there any other facilities nearby, like on that block?
There will be restrooms at the yacht club where we're going to be having the barbecue afterwards, which is a short walk up maybe a 8-minute walk up the beach.
Cool, thank you.
Yep.
And I think we may be able to make those available at request earlier.
Yeah.
We do actually have a key to the yacht club for the day, so that we can get in and out in the morning. So just please talk to a volunteer who's on the beach.
Yeah. Mina, do you know also, does DCR have porta potties set up along the boulevard this year? I know they did in the past. We can't promise it, but they might.
That's a very good question.
For
I
what it's
will-
worth, they are currently set up as of today still.
Okay.
The porta
Oh, great.
potties.
Okay. then
And they
that-
were cleaned, Polly and I found they were cleaned on Thursday.
Wonderful.
So they are in good shape at the moment.
That's the intel we need, JB. Thank you. Okay, so that also will be an option, while maybe not the first choice. There will be along the boulevard. So this is a public a department of what's DCR stand for? The local parks, the state parks department has actually runs the beach, and there are porta potties set up along the beach. So that will also be an option, hopefully.
And there was a question about if the race provides holes for the boat flags. We will be providing zip ties to fix it to the side of the boat instead of using poles.
Sorry, I didn't check the chat the other day, and now I'm seeing that there is chat. So I'm going to check the chat at the end. We're getting close to that point.
I'll monitor from here on out.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Sorry, there was one other question.
I was asking about a pole for the orange flag, not for the flag on the side of the boat. For the diver flag and the swimmer flag.
We tend to get pretty creative with where we attach them. Does your boat have any vertical structure?
Not much, no.
That's okay. I was crew once on a Boston whaler, and I think we just
I can go to the hardware store and get a piece of pipe and put that on there. Plastic pipe.
that will work, or we can rig something up on Saturday morning for sure. It's not the first time that we've had a boat that doesn't have anything to mount.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Knowing about it now, though, is good, so we'll think it through. DCR stands for Department of Conservation and Recreation. Thank you, Hillary. I should know that. Okay, so this is the final content slide. So the awards and post swim, the awards will be given out on the beach shortly after noon, or a little bit earlier when if the last swimmer finishes earlier than that. And then the barbecue will be in progress at the yacht club from, this says 12:30, it may be a little bit earlier than that, from that point onwards. And that is BYOB, but feel free to join us. We'll have burgers and dogs and the like, and a good time, good company. So yeah, that is that is our safety meeting. So these are just our sponsors. So thanks again to the Boston Harbor Yacht Club for letting us use their space. The Track RS information will go out in the email later today, I believe. And Marathon Swimmers Federation and Night Shift Brewing is a sponsor for our swim this year. And then also our local partners are DCR, the City of Boston, and the US Coast Guard. And then this is our entire organizing committee. So these were all an all volunteer committee. So thank you to everybody else for taking the time to run the swim. And then again, if you have any questions, Mina's on the call right now. I'm here right now. This video is going to be uploaded and shared later today. If you have any additional questions, feel free to reach out to us, obviously, and you can ask additional questions now. And like I mentioned, if this meeting cuts off, just double click back into the same link and I'll reopen it if we don't get through all the questions in the next 10 minutes. What questions do people have?
My name is Megan. I had a question about the safety channel. How do you
Mhm.
access that?
So it's going to be on the boats on the marine radios. You can change the channel settings, and so those will be the two channels that well, hopefully you'll only use the one channel, the race communication channel, 72. So yeah, it'll be on the marine radio.
All right, thank you. And then the barbecue at the end, are friends welcome as well to join?
Yeah, Mina, what's the setup for the barbecue at the end?
All right, so we have probably enough room for a couple of more people because we don't expect that all of our boaters will be attending.
Okay.
But we want to keep that to a minimum. We are our hosts, Boston Harbor Yacht Club. This is only our second year of having our celebration there. So we're trying to keep it contained to mostly our swimmers and swimmers, crew, and boats. But we know if you have volunteers, if you have, sorry, people watching you on the beach, we do invite you to come for a short time, but don't expect that we are going to have a large party there that will continue for some time. There are many places that we have in the local area that we encourage you to check out. We used to go to the L Street Tavern up the street, and there are several local restaurants as well. But
All
we
right,
are
thank you.
we are providing food for crew, swimmers, and any boaters that choose to attend.
Thank you.
Hey, this is Jillian Salton out in Oregon. Thanks very much for putting this on. Are earplugs permitted?
Earplugs are permitted, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Did I miss any questions in the chat?
I did not see any.
This is Jeff Rake, Philadelphia. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
Hey, on that earplug, to go along with that, you know, I'm sure it's posted in the rules and I apologize, but is it marathon swim rules, one cap only?
Correct. One cap
Okay.
only, non-neoprene, silicone or latex are fine.
Okay, just wanted to make sure.
Always good to double check.
Yeah, if it's, you know, double cap, I'm a skinny guy. But that's okay, we'll deal.
All right. Any other questions?
Yes. Hi, Katie. I'm crewing for a swimmer. Do you have any resources you'd recommend for crew to recognize the signs of hypothermia, or in other words, kind of from like, because I've never crewed for open water swim like this before. So just making sure that I know what I'm looking for.
Yeah, so I think one of the traditional methods of keeping track is stroke count. So if at the beginning of the swim, you just take a minute, maybe not the very beginning, because like sometimes swimmers get in and they're like, ooh, let's go. Count the number of strokes that your swimmer is taking in a minute and file that away. And maybe do it, you know, again, an hour later and see what that is. And if you find that your swimmer stroke count has decreased 10%, that's a red flag. You want to just make sure, because what happens is over time, as you get cold, your muscles stiffen up, they don't work as well, you get tired and you can't really, you don't have the dexterity. So 10% is generally like a warning sign. If you then talk to them and find that they're a little bit disoriented, that's absolutely, you know, like they're too cold, right? Also talk to your swimmer about their personal experience with hypothermia. Some people, you know, your face muscles get cold and you sound like you're slurring your words, but really it's not a hypothermia thing. It's just a cold muscles thing. Well, I guess that is hypothermia. Yeah, so but some people tolerate that better than others. So also talk to your swimmer about their personal experience with it and understand, you know, are they likely to be concerned about their own personal body temperature in these water conditions? Yeah, keep an eye out for those things. If they start swimming with their hands balled up or like a claw shape, that's another thing that you can keep an eye out as a warning sign. Yeah, just pay attention to your interactions with them throughout the day.
Great. Thank you, Kelly.
If you do have concern, please ask them a question and see if they can speak and respond to you. If you're quite concerned, a couple of questions that you're not repeatedly asking something new versus how do you feel? Something additional to that to make sure that they're still have their cognition.
Yep. And if you get really concerned, you can have one of the safety boats come by. If you feel like you're not able to accurately assess them, we can come by. The problem is that you've been watching that swimmer the whole time. And so one of us would be just seeing them at a single point in time. So, you know, but
Well,
good question.
One other note about the safety boats, we will be providing a list of the safety boats with the boat names. So that will be printed out and given to the swimmers and crew in the morning. You can give that to your boat pilot. So they know who to call on our channel 72 if they do have any concerns or need us to attend.
Is everybody super excited? I'm super excited. I don't even get to go swimming.
Me too.
Awesome. All right, if there are no additional questions, like I said, if something pops up later, feel free to let us know. Otherwise, we really look forward to seeing you on Friday.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Have a great
everyone. Thanks.
afternoon.
Thanks, Kelly.
Bye.
So to get up.
You all set?